that is, some people consider the future of marketing, but we need to look at traditional marketing still exists, and we need to be looking at what's different about digital marketing and what's the same. And really, if you look at newspaper, magazine, radio, old school billboards, the old school marketing approaches, you look at how do you measure success? You measure it on sales, you measure it on reach. How many bodies did you reach? And that's really kind of a key factor there. And digital marketing is also about reach. You have to reach an audience. By reach, I mean, how many eyeballs saw your promotion? That's what reach is. Did they react to it? Did they engage? Maybe not, but that's what reach is. But digital marketing really takes it to another level. It's about a two-way communication that we call engagement. So that's really our goal. As a social media, or we call a community manager, which we'll talk about next week. If you're managing the social media for a business, it's really about engagement. That's how you're measured. The two-way communication stream, and that's really the main difference between traditional and digital marketing. Both still exist, and both are important. Digital marketing has become probably more important, just because if you want to get a job in marketing, the first thing they ask you on the responsibilities or the job tasks is you're going to have to manage a digital strategy for a company. You're going to know. So after today, I think you're going to have a little better idea about it. But so the digital marketing has to do with it. It affects branding, social media, of course, content marketing. We're going to be talking about email marketing, which is really old school. That's really part of the traditional marketing. Email marketing been around since email, probably 30 years or something. Video production is becoming more and more important because you go on your social media feeds, and you're looking at Instagram, TikTok, and even Facebook, you're going to be seeing video. And that's videos, the way is what's driving everything now. And there's a whole strategy behind video production. You have to get their attention in 3 seconds and keep it for a short duration time. Don't want to bury someone with long videos. Search engine optimization we'll be talking about tonight, of course. The web design itself we'll be talking about from a high level. And online apps we're not going to be talking about, but they're a big piece of a strategy. Search engine marketing and search engine optimization are directly connected. If you want to stop me for any particular reason, you want to share an anecdote, or if something's not clear, please let me know. I know we have 5 people here, which is really good. That's all but 2 in the class. Now, when you're working with a website developer, and we've done this work for clients, so what my specialist would do is they would give the client a worksheet, and they would say, please identify the websites you would like to model. And we're not going to copy them. We were going to model them. What do you like about them? What do you like? Do you like the imagery? Do you like the layout of the website? Do you like, the simplicity of it? What's important to you? And so we will ask them these. We'll also ask them, what colors do they prefer? We have an idea of what colors should be out there, probably cooler colors like blues and types of greens, not yellow and orange and red, but, colors like that. So we have our own ideas about that, but we'd like to know what the customers, what the clients' impressions are. But whenever you're going to design a website, simplicity is the key. And I'm not saying simple. I'm not saying stupidly simple. I'm just saying simple enough to be able to maneuver around some complex things. And that's really important. I'll show you examples of that. The visual hierarchy. And that goes with what are you going to lead with? You know, I always recommend your unique value proposition should be what you lead with. How do you navigate? You know, do you use a horizontal horizontal navigation bar, or do you use the old school left column menu bar? And is that consistent? I mean, what an audience wants consistency. They don't want to have to learn how to use your website. They want it to be what they've seen before, but just in a different way. So that's what consistency is. Responsivity. Is your website responsive across all platforms? Smartphones, tablets, desktops, and whatever other platform you have. Is it responsive? Are they going to get a good view of with those smaller platforms, with those smaller views? And businesses run into problems with those. I'm going to show you that. Your web developer should be able to easily adjust for that. Accessibility. Sometimes we've been asked before, we need our website to be ADA compliant. Americans with disabilities go, what? Well, that would have to do with blindness and hearing impaired. So, you know, that can be adjusted also at a nominal price. That can be fixed. Sometimes if it's a outward facing business with a public facing business, you may need that. And then that comes with conventionality. All those are conventional, credibility, and above all these things make the website more conventional, more credible, and more user-centric, those things. If I'm going to be showing, one of the most modeled websites for e-commerce is Apple. And we're just going to take a peek at Apple right now. It gets modeled a lot, okay? And what they're going to be leading with is their unique value proposition. Whatever that is at the time. This is what you're going to see on the cover. And what are they doing here? Oh boy, they have a sales promotion here, which is kind of weird. But anyway, this is you're gonna want to look at, they're kind of piquing your interest here. Unbelievably thin, incredibly powerful. This kind of gets your attention. What is this? But then they have a horizontal navigation bar, and the navigation bar covers everything they do in depth. But you notice that they're not laying a bunch of data on you or content on you right now. It's very conventional, if you will, very simple, conventional. And the iPad Pro is so now they have a video that kind of, a lot of times they lead with a video, but this is really crazy. What is this? Do you guys know what this is? Man, I don't. The iPad Pro. Do you have any idea what they're showing you here? I mean, I think they're making it look space age for a reason. I don't know. But anyway, my point is that Apple is a website. When we would ask a client, they point to this if they're an e-commerce store. They like the way Apple presents their product and services.
Okay. Oh, you know, I checked on my phone while you were talking, Steve, because I remember you saying that the top drop-down menu is a bit old school. But sure enough, if you go in on your phone, they sense that and give you the new school hamburger menu, not the old school drop-down. So they get you both ways. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I find that the hamburger menu actually doesn't work well on the desktop. You know, I'd rather see an old school menu. They get the best of both worlds. It's cool.
But when you say hamburger menu, just for everybody's benefit, what does that mean?
So in a lot of websites, especially if you go on your phone, you'll see those three lines kind of stacked up on each other, either in the top left or the top right corner. And that gives you the main nav.
That's
just like
The
Yeah.
stack hamburger, yeah, right.
Yeah, I got embarrassed on that last week because I was like, "Oh, I like the old school," and somebody else said, "Everybody knows it's a hamburger menu now, Mark." And I'm like, "All right, okay."
Actually, I don't think everybody, I don't know. That may not be the common vernacular with everybody in the world, but
Oh, I'm sorry. That could have been just for my last employer. That's what we called it consistently.
no, you guys were,
Anyway, carry on.
you guys were, you guys were cutting edge. Okay, so I want to show you in another industry that we get involved in is the Hotel Del Coronado. And the reason why I like showing this is because it is very simple and elegant. It has I don't see any hamburger menus here, but they have, but they have this real simple menu across the top of horizontal menu. And it's video based because this is Zoom. The video is slowing down, but they're showing they're showing the experience. And the Hotel Del Coronado is maybe the oldest hotel in California. It's not, it's one of the oldest, built in 1888. And they're going to be showing you here all people having all kinds of fun, couples, families, things to do. It's a very high-end place. If you try to get a reservation there now, you're going to see rooms upward of $1,000 and more, depending on what you're trying to do. But they're showing this great experience here. It's an experiential type approach, and they have this menu is very simple. You want to stay. Let's look at the different rooms, the experience. What are you going to be doing? All the things you can do. They have 5 dining rooms. You could look at those, and then for meeting spaces, weddings and corporate things, they have that. And then they have, which all websites should have, is the reserve now, which is the call to action. And later on, we're going to be looking at that. Why is it so important to have a call to action? The AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. Got to have that. There are some things that are really cool here. One of them is the reason I like this, and for hotel clients we've had, I always show them this because they have, and it's a high budget thing, right? So they have the live beach cam, which is really cool. And what they're showing is a live real-time view of what's going on at the hotel. I mean, right now it's still light out. It's what is it, 6:25, and it's showing the pool. It's panning out to a southern view of, I guess this is facing south, I don't know, of the beach. It shows people on the beach. It shows it's still sunny out. It's kind of good to know that, right? If you're going to stay there. Yes, it's sunny. There's probably going to be a sunset, which is kind of cool. This is a feature they have that I don't know any other hotel that has this. And, that's kind of cool, right? And then you have, if you want, you can see what was the last 24 hours like. And it's going to give you a time-lapse photography of the last 24 hours. There was fog in the morning or overcast, and then it gets sunny in the afternoon. So it gives you an idea what's going on. I just like it because I like going here. And there's a price to pay for me going there, and I'll be explaining that probably next week, what the price is for me to go here all the time. So we're going to check. Any questions on the Hotel Del Coronado?
I thought you already said it was $1,000 a night, Steve.
Yeah.
That seems like enough right there. Yeah.
You can afford it. You're doing better than I am. And by the way, that is a good price right now. Now they'll get into the $400 range in November or something, but now we're going to be looking at, so that's when we look at developing a website, those are some of the factors we think about. And then we have search engine marketing, which is where, why do we have to what's so important about search engine marketing? You might be asking, and the point is that if nobody can find you, if your website is not optimized well, you are not going to be in the game. And in the game is, let's say, you know, the consumer goes through a buying process or a purchase process, and that has to do with they recognize they have a problem. Then they want to okay, the problem is they need to do something. Then they get into information seeking, where they try to find, you know, different they want to inform themselves on what's out there. Then they are to identify alternatives, and they compare the alternatives. Then they evaluate them and pick a winner. Then they make the purchase. And then there's, of course, post-purchase process where they get buyer's remorse and all that. But that's another course I teach. So you have this process here. This is where you will never get to this point if they can't find you online, if your prospects cannot find you online. That's why that's so important. And if you look at search engine marketing, by the way, textbooks and experts have it different ways. I do it this way. To me, it's like I have search engine marketing, and this is what a lot of experts, maybe 50% of the experts out there have it. It involves search engine optimization and pay-per-click. So this is the umbrella term, if you will, and that includes SEO and PPC. Now, I'm staying with the Hotel Del Coronado. I flagged two through a search. I just typed in Hotel Del Coronado, and this is what I came up with two web placements here. Notice they look kind of the same, different wording, but they start with Hotel Coronado and they have kind of the same title here. But what's the real difference between the two? Other than the words itself, what would you say is the big difference between these two placements? Just looking at the content. We got Daniel, we got Christina, we got Johnny, we got Mark. What would you say would be the big difference between the two?
Yeah, just digesting them right now. Sorry, I should have looked at this earlier.
No, just
Tony.
look at what just comes out and grabs you here. Look at the very top line of the placement.
Probably like the beachfront.
Okay, look above that. Look above that. Here and here.
I bet more people would be searching on beach resort than beachfront legend. You know what I mean? Beach resort is more of a generic thing you might search on if you were visiting San Diego. You're probably not going to search on beachfront legend, but it's a nice grabby type headline for your paid placement on the
But
paid
can you guys see where my mouse is? Do you guys see my mouse?
Oh, you mean that where it says ad?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Ad and no ad. I'm sorry.
I was trying to get you to not read this and just look at it. So,
I failed to understand the assignment. I apologize. Yeah.
No, everybody did. That's okay. So ad is the key. Notice it says ad. So ad means that it's pay-per-click. If you don't see an ad, you will see it says doesn't have the ad insignia. That means it's organically placed. The web ranking or the content is organically placed, and that's the key we're going to be looking at here as we compare the two. Both are tools in search engine marketing, search engine optimization, and pay-per-click. So if you look at where I got these from, you see that I typed in the branded keyword Hotel Del Coronado. On the top, it says ad. On the bottom, it says nothing. It doesn't say ad, right? You have kind of, the content's different, but it's kind of the same, okay? The content's about the same. So what's going on here? Now, why are they, keep in mind, whenever you see this, whoever the brand is, or the business, the company, they are there because they're paying to be there. There's an ad budget put in through Google Ads where they're paying to be there. So they pay to be number one. Every time you click on this, it's going to cost them I'm going to round it off to $1. Every time you look at the about page, it costs them another $1. You go to the rooms, it costs them another $1. Look at the restaurant, that's another $1. Look around at the live beach cam, that's another $1. You could, and then maybe go to order, or to place to book a room, that's another $1. So you could spend $12 of their money in that position by clicking on ad. But why do they do that? Because they're here. Why do they do that? And the reason is because of something that's legal, and it's legally done. And what it is, they could have this hotel, for example. This hotel could purchase, they could outbid the Hotel Del Coronado for the keywords Hotel Del Coronado. They could outbid them. They could be the high bidder. If that's the case, when you search for the branded keyword Hotel Del Coronado, guess what? The Keating would show up here. These guys would show up here because they outbid the Hotel Del Coronado for their own keywords. Is that fair? Is that ethical? Is that moral? I don't know. It's legal. Can be done. It happens all the time. Businesses will bid on another business's keywords and be number one in a search. However, there's some downsides to that, but that's what happens. So the Hotel Del says, we can't have that. We can't have the Keating Hotel show as number one for our branded keywords. So they have to outbid their competitors for the Hotel Del Coronado. Therefore, they show up there, and they also show up here organically. That's why, a business, you might see a business in both positions because they had to outbid their competitors because they don't want to get trumped, no pun intended. Any questions on that?
Hey, Steve, it's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
In the old days, I remember you could bid on other companies. It's been a long time since I worked on this hands-on, but you could bid on other companies' brand terms, but you couldn't use their name in your ad. You know what I mean? So you couldn't bid on
Right.
Hotel Del Coronado and then say, we've got way better prices than Hotel Del Coronado. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Is that still the case?
That makes sense, but in this case, they don't care about that.
Right.
The Keating would just wants to be there because when you're looking for Hotel Del Coronado, they're going to see you first.
Awesome. So, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So that is that's a strategy. It's what I call that a defensive strategy. So let's look at the difference between SEO and pay-per-click. SEO is organic, and that's good. And I'll explain why that's good. But it takes time for the results to take effect. You can do everything right with respect to SEO, so you're organically have a high ranking. You can do everything right and still not have a high ranking because it takes time and it requires ongoing work. There's a residual benefit though, and that's a big advantage. Now with pay-per-click, after the setup, results are instant. If you outbid the Hotel Del, or you just like what they did with their own branded keywords, they had to buy their own, they had to outbid everyone on their own branded keywords. They're going to be number one right now. And it requires a budget though. And once the budget stops, you disappear as fast as you showed up. So once the budget goes to zero, you are gone from that position. Now, I'm going to make an argument here based on data that search engine optimization is more important than pay-per-click. And what I'm going to say is that, let's look at this bottom part of the graphic. 70 to 80% of users ignore the ad. And they go to the first organically placed placement. 70 to 80% ignore the top. So let's go back for a second. So when someone's searching for the Hotel Del Coronado, 70 to 80% of the searchers ignore this. Why would they ignore that? Why would they ignore this and go here? Does that make any sense? Because this is number one. This is the top of the page. Why would they ignore that? You think? There's an answer to this question.
I don't want to dominate, but I'll try. I think that in general, people distrust paid stuff. The users are pretty sophisticated, and they know that that is something you can buy, and don't need necessarily to be the top provider in that area. I do wonder, though, if people have gotten even more sophisticated and understand that the paid ad is the company's attempt to get you to what you're looking for faster than maybe you'd get through organic. But I'd suspect that that's the reason.
That is true. So that's a good stab at that, and I think you're right. The consumers are becoming more sophisticated. They are starting to see and understand I don't really want to go here. Why? Because they're afraid of cookies being set. They're afraid of being captured. They're afraid of remarketing coming back at me. They're afraid of getting hammered with newsletters. And by the way, that's what consumers hate more than anything is newsletters. They hate those.
I feel like every time I land at a place where they haven't done much marketing, the newsletter is the first idea. Like, why wouldn't everyone want to hear exactly what's going on throughout our company? And then you kind of got to talk them down from that.
And that's what they're most afraid of. So 70 to 80% will skip this, even though it's number one on the page, and they'll go here. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. That's why you have to outbid your competitors for your own branded keywords, but you really should focus more on SEO. Now, when we look at SEO or the organic placement, I'm not going to teach you guys tonight to be experts for SEO, but I want you to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk. So when you have SEO, which is your goal, you have on page. So this is you're working on your organic placement SEO, on page SEO and off page SEO. If you don't know much about this, you're thinking, well, all I should care about is what's happening on the page. I should be thinking about our content, having really good, well-written content that is concise and makes sense, it's grammar error-free, and all those things. And in that, I'm going to put keywords. I'm going to space them out in a good way so they're not overusing the keywords. We're going to put in the right keywords, and then we're going to have beautiful images, and the images need to be clear, concise, load well, those types of things. And then if they do load well and all that, then the page speed will be good. And so then this is what I'm going to be focused on. There's other things too. There's meta tags, and we really get into the weeds with this stuff, but we're not going to tonight. But these are just some of the things you think about, that when you're the director and you've got a web developer, you're going to say, hey, let's make sure we have really good, well-written content. The keywords are naturally used, not overused, because that will hurt you. You'll get deranked for too many keywords. You want the images, you want the page speed, all those things. But what businesses forget sometimes is that off-page SEO is really important as well. So what's off-page SEO? Linking. So when businesses link to your website, what does that tell Google? It tells Google you have authority. Google likes that. Google says, oh, this website has authority. I'm going to rank it higher. And then social media. Social media is not on the page, it's off page. But Google's looking at your business's social media. It's all tied back to your business website. It's all linked. They see it as either it's quality or it's not. And if you're not on the right social media sites, we'll talk about next week, that target the right audiences, you are going to be having some issues. Yeah, okay. Well, Mark, I was looking at you, sent me a text. Sorry, I don't see the text that well, so usually, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt. I was just for the people on the call that you can use the chat feature, and I shared the link to Search Engine Land,
Good,
which is a
good,
great site for SEO. That's all.
good, thank you. That's fine. So you look at off-page and on-page. We forget the off-page sometimes, and I'm going to show you a really good way to measure this. And we'll get to that in a few minutes here. And I want to go to that right now, actually. There's a site here. I don't want you to go here right now, but there's a really cool site. And this is it's called SEO P Timer. Here's a direct link to it. You click on it, then it asks you to put the exact website, which I recommend you copy and paste the full website. It should say HTTPS. It should say all this. Put the website in, the actual website in the space, and it will generate a chart like this. And this is the dashboard. And it is evaluating on-page SEO. We talked about on-page, links or off-page SEO. Usability is on-page. We'll talk about that. Performance is on-page. Social media is off-page. So it's using the different areas of measurement to give a SEO score, and it gives the overall score up here. Let me just tell you right now, you can only use this once every 24 hours. The system will, I've tried to use it 3 times, it stops me. So you can only use it once every, and then the system kind of resets. They're trying to get subscriptions, obviously, but it's a really good dashboard type of thing. So if you're gonna wait till you're really gonna use it before you use it, okay? Because then you have to wait 24 hours otherwise. And it gives you the radar chart. So what do you do with this? Well, what I would do is, I look at the different scores, A+, A+, A+. That's awesome, right? They do a great job. But the usability, what's going on here? And so I would click on this, and that would take me to click on the dashboard score. It'll take me to this. Your usability needs improvement. What are they saying here? They're saying that something that's really an easy fix, they're blowing it. When somebody clicks on from different platforms, like a smartphone and a tablet, it gives them an unacceptable view, according to this school SEO P Timer. They don't like it. They're giving it an F. This can be fixed by Webmaster, by the way. So they don't like the view that they're showing their prospects, so they give them an F. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do as part of the project work is to go to put in a website. If it's obviously if you're using the Stonehenge Mirror, you can't do this. There's no website, but you could take a competitor and do this, okay, or something like that. You can take any brand, any competitor, put it in there, get a score. I'm most interested in you being able to use this tool and read this tool, okay? And it'll give you this kind of treatment afterwards, okay? Then the last thing I wanted to show you, I skipped it because I wanted to show you keywords, and we talked about using AI for this for help. So we use a long head and long-tailed keywords. What's a head keyword? The head keyword would be bed sheets, Hotel San Diego, shoes. In this case, shoes. And then maybe something that's a little less of a head keyword is running shoes, a little more specific. But then less specific is best running shoes for kids. So let's talk about how this works. In the world of keywords, the most common, obvious keywords, if you sell shoes, is up here. And this is great because there's tons of search volume, right? But it's terrible at the same time because there's so much competition. You will never rank. No one will ever find you because there's way too many bigger competitors are using just shoes. Now, if you use running shoes, there's a little less search volume. You have a little better chance of being a searcher going to your website using running shoes. But what we're saying here is if you use a long-tailed keyword, you have the engagement or conversion expands as you go from left to right. So when you use a long-tail keyword, it's very specific, right? But your competitors may not be using that specific a term. So you have a much better chance of higher chance of getting conversion in the long-tailed keyword. You have almost no chance here, some chance here, and a better chance here. If you sell shoes, should you still use shoes? Yes. Have to use it, but don't be thinking it's going to help you that much because there's too much competition. Another way to look at this is hotels in San Diego would be hotels in San Diego would be up here somewhere. Very common. There's 300 hotels in San Diego. It's not going to help you that much. But if you use beach hotels in San Diego, that's more specific. You're going to get a better chance of being discovered here. Like bed sheets, if you're in that business, would be up here somewhere. High search volume, low conversion rate, because there's so much competition. But bed sheets that keep you cool would be here. You have a much better chance of being discovered there. Okay, so that's the lecture for tonight. Now, any questions on that?
When you say search, do you mean Google search?
Yes. Yeah, because Google dominates the search realm. Google is the 98% of all searches are on Google. So when Google is synonymous with searching now. I'm going to Google something, right? That's a good question, right? So we go where most of the bodies are. What I wanted to do was go over to the modules for a second. One student had an issue with being able to use the I want to look at a template really quick. And oh, by the way, so I'm gonna stop recording right now because it's not that relevant to everything, but I'm going to pause.